Hey guys, this is the Overleveled podcast, episode 10, and I am surprised that we have a bunch of news, this week and past last week. And it's a special occasion. We managed to do 10 episodes, and, we're a bit consistent now, a little bit more consistent. You can start seeing it, every week. And if there's not much news, then pretty much no episode. But we have a bunch of topics, and we have on the panel Taladia, Marvel DC fan, and Inspector. And we're going to start off with a bit of Arkham news, and we'll have Taladia talk about that, including Kevin Conroy.
Okay, guys. So here's the news of the Arkham stuff. So was at a Comic-Con this past weekend, I believe, and he made some remarks about there is no Arkham game in development. He's not going to be a part of it, and he is surprised by it because he stated that they were making billions off it, and he thought there would be more. So Kevin Conroy is not doing the next Batman game, and that's according to what that's what he said in the Comic-Con. Now, we haven't had any besides the Kevin Conroy thing, we haven't had any other big news of why WB Montreal have come out and stated, why Kevin Conroy come out and stated this. We haven't had, some of the big higher-ups of, state anything about the whole saga with the Arkham games. But in my own opinion on this, I think the situation is going to come to the point now that the Arkham games are finished. They are complete. There's nothing else you could really do about it. I mean, we still have Telltale episode 2 coming out in a couple of weeks' time. On top of that, we still have Injustice 2, and we still got the DLCs for that. So that's a total of 5 DLCs and 4 episodes of Telltale. So in a total, we got about until February before we get the next DC game. So in my honest opinion, I think that Rocksteady will be getting their game out before WB Games Montreal in terms of them publish, because it's been a while since they published the game, and a life cycle for a AAA game takes up to 6 months. So yeah, I think that's going to be the case. And what game would it be for the WB from Rocksteady? None other than Superman. That's my honest thoughts. And with the people I'm speaking to about this stuff, they've stated the same thing, that the Batman game is definitely indeed in works, but there's they're not really sure why Kevin Conroy said this stuff about him not voicing Bruce Wayne in the next Batman game. So I'm going to hand it over to Red Hood, Inspector, and Marvel DC fan to see what they get their opinions on this stuff as well. So take it away, guys.
So I'll start off. I've made my opinion known on what I think about Warner Bros. Montreal. I felt like they've never really proven themselves as capable developers creating games, just in terms of quality testing, in terms of story, and in terms of they have to look at a type of formula and try to incorporate it in their game, such as Arkham Origins, and taking inspiration from Mr. Freeze, from Ra's al Ghul, and to incorporate it in those fights, boss fights at Arkham Origins.
Arkham City, you mean?
No, I was saying for incorporating it into Arkham Origins, that they kind of did like a copycat.
Yeah, they kind of did copycat boss fights from Arkham City to Arkham Origins. That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, personally, they kind of butchered some of, the lore, and kind of have continuity errors, and especially, working on the Batgirl DLC, saying they had two other Robins to choose from, Dick Grayson and Jason Todd, and then they still end up with Tim Drake messing that stuff up. And overall, I'm not surprised. We heard about the Suicide Squad. being canceled and hearing about this stuff, I personally think I don't know what Warner Bros. Games is going to do with this studio, because they haven't been making any games. They haven't been providing anything like Studio Monolith, who's doing Shadow War, and there are other studios. So I have no idea in terms of that where they'll go there, but Kevin Conroy saying that he's not doing any voice work for this game, and he hasn't been approached about said game. And to me, yeah, this game is done. And personally, I'm not going to cry about it. I just want to see what Rocksteady makes, and that's about that.
In Marvel DC fan, got any opinions on Kevin Conroy's remarks?
I'm trying to find a way to word it. Well, okay. The fact that he's not doing another game, like, I'm not surprised about that, because if you see in interviews with Kevin Conroy, he doesn't like really doing video games as much as he likes doing, animated movies or TV shows. And from what you guys have been kind of saying, it's like, yeah, this franchise is pretty much done with. And like, if there is another game, well, I'll have to see to believe it. Like something official, maybe like a trailer or something like that. But for a franchise that I love dearly, I'm officially saying this, it is gone. Like, there is nothing more we can really do with it.
So you're saying it's essentially like the Uncharted series that's completed now?
Yeah,
That's
it's pretty much finished.
Yeah. Inspector?
I kind of agree with Marvel DC fan where, like, I'm not surprised with his comments because I feel like Arkham Knight was a good conclusion to the series, and I feel like Kevin Conroy returning to do another Batman game would kind of feel like I'm trying to word it too, like I don't know how to word it, but like
he wouldn't perform well, you think?
Yeah, like maybe like he would phone it in, I guess.
Yeah.
And plus, like, I don't want to say like age is a thing, but Kevin Conroy is getting up there in age. And I feel like I don't think he would return because I think Mark Hamill is also done with Joker. So I think without Mark Hamill, Kevin Conroy wouldn't return anyway.
Which is true. Yeah.
Yeah. So like in terms of the voice actors, like we don't
see another actor coming in.
I know, like I didn't mind Roger Craig Smith's voice. I thought maybe it was a little bit too like gravelly maybe. But like I didn't mind his performance in Arkham Origins. I like Troy Baker's Batman, but I don't know if he would come back as Joker or not.
Yeah.
If anything, like as you said, like for the Superman game, if like I don't want to say that's confirmed, but it's like heavily rumored.
It's heavily rumored that it's going to be at Rocksteady.
Yeah, like I wouldn't be surprised if like there's a like you know how in Arkham Knight they had like that voicemail thing with Lex Luthor?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's like something like that, but with Batman, and Kevin Conroy has like a little cameo, like a voice cameo.
And that I see that happening. Yeah. I can also see a possibility of them because think about it, Arkham Knight had all this, Easter eggs to, that you had the Daily Planet, you had, Superman reference, and you had Lex Luthor. So I'm guessing Rocksteady might be working on a Superman game, and if it turns out that I'm right, which I might be, I'm not sure. Then I'm gonna say right now that look, I was happy enough to get Batman Arkham franchise that lasted for us for nearly a decade, I mean, I'm still playing the crap out of Arkham Knight, and I still love it. I still play it. But it's time for us to get a brand new DC character.
Yeah.
And maybe Superman, maybe not Batman, sorry. Maybe Superman, maybe Wonder Woman, maybe even the Flash. So if we get one of these characters to come onto the video game side of things, I think it would make sense.
Yeah. I think out of all those characters, I would say Superman is like the most possible next to Wonder Woman, just because like her popularity now.
It's grown big.
Wonder Woman and Wonder Woman 2 coming out in December of 2019, depending on if it moves because of Star Wars. But
yeah.
So
we're just like the way I see it is just that Rocksteady now is the main line frontier that they are going to be the next company to deliver a DC game. That's the way I'm seeing it, and maybe you guys agree with what I'm saying as well.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I said my piece. It's to me they should just leave it like that. No reason to run a trilogy of games.
Do you think this, if Rocksteady does a Superman game as an example, do you think would you think they'll do a trilogy, or will it just be like a one single formula game?
I mean, I think it'll be a trilogy. I don't see Rocksteady making a bad game. Do they have a challenge to overcome for Superman? Yeah, because we don't have a really good Superman game that has been made.
The only bar that there is Superman 64, and that's not really a high bar.
Yeah, it's just like it's going to be hard to balance things out.
Or Superman Returns, which actually came out in 2006, and
well, people still say like Superman 64 was.
The thing about Superman is that like it's hard to make a video game around him because Superman's like this pretty much god-like character, and like how do you make a video game around it?
Mm-hmm.
So.
I mean, the only way you can get around that is simply nerf him, like they did with the animated series, where he is nerfed to the degree that anybody can knock the crap out of him.
Yeah,
which is true.
And there's also a problem with animations where you have to animate mainly flying, and flying is like really hard to animate, especially like with the
CGI.
Like especially with the capes, and like especially with Batman's cape, Rocksteady put like so much work and detail into that cape.
It took them a year.
Sounds. Yeah, it took them a year just for like sound effects and.
Like, and it was one guy.
Yeah.
And now you have like Superman, like flying super fast and stuff like that, and different sounds of regular flying, super flying, and the cape flapping, and that sound effect. It's gonna take a lot.
You're about to sound like Tyrone Magnus. Cape flapping.
Cape flapping.
Flapping away.
No, but it's I'll be honest with you. Rocksteady might do is they might actually take what interpretations of previous games like Superman Returns, Superman Shadow of Apocalypse, and combine them all into one big game, and it might work out for the best. We don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that it could be a point where what they did with Batman Arkham franchise, where with that franchise, it was similar to the animated series, so they might do that with Superman, where it's similarities. Have the same voice actors who did the animated series, and it would be interesting, to have Clancy Brown to come back and to also have Tim Daly or George Newbern to come back to voice Superman. I think it'd be very interesting.
I mean, I think it can happen. I mean, they got Kevin Conroy for Batman, so I don't see.
I mean,
why not?
I think they would do George Newbern since he's the more recognizable voice, since he voices him in Injustice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what I've got to say about the Arkham / Rocksteady news for you guys. So over to you, Red Hood, and talk about the next topic.
Next topic. I do recommend. This is a very interesting book. I did recently get it. It's called Blood, Sweat, and Pixels. It's by Jason Schreier. It talks about some breaking news that he's done, pieces that he has done. He goes to the developers, ask about how the process of the game was made. And in particular, there's an Uncharted 4 chapter. And a lot of people in the gaming world and media knows that Amy Hemming was the director of Uncharted 4 and left for unknown reasons. So the reasons for that are in the book. And Jason Schreier interviewed people. Of course, some of them can't say their names, and they give corroboration to some of the statements. And so essentially, there's a big story, twist in this. So this is, if you guys don't want any spoilers, spoiler alert, to Uncharted 4 in that regard. So the main villain for Uncharted 4 was originally supposed to be Sam. And if you saw the trailer, you kind of knew what the initial reveal was. Like, he was locked away for so many years and he wants to take revenge. But the interesting tidbit was that Nathan would have never known who Sam was in terms of them being brothers. They've worked together, and that last job that they did landed him in prison. So he's going to go after him, get revenge. And then in the kind of cliche way, at the ending, Nathan finds out that they are biological brothers.
You were my brother, Anakin.
Exactly. And I'm just okay. And this was supposed to be I would say a bit darker as well. And supposedly the first half of the game, there's no gunplay. It's just melee combat, which is a drastic change for the Uncharted series. And then Bruce Straley and Neil Druckmann came on to see what was happening with the project. And they didn't like where it was headed, and they didn't think that this was staying true to, Uncharted, in their opinion, of course. And, they were just saying, they were having arguments, and then supposedly Amy just stopped going to work. And, that levels were unfinished, and she just kept not going. And then she was kind of pushed out. And what I think about this is, in my opinion, with the story, with what we got, and they kind of use the similar elements, if you can tell, about Sam, but him not being an antagonist. And yeah, Rafe was still, in the original pitch, he was helping Sam, but it's the other way around, with Sam helping Rafe when he got him out of prison. And Nadine is a original character that Neil Druckmann did create. Nadine was never in the Uncharted 4 original pitch when they were creating the levels and all that. But in your overall opinions, do you like how it was turned out? Because technically, by some miracle, they kind of churned this out kind of quick, in a way where we wouldn't have known that this really have happened in the process like that. And such drastic changes that came across.
At what point? Oh, sorry. At what point in production did she leave?
I forgot what part it was, but it was pretty much when did Amy leave officially? Because it didn't say when she stopped coming to work. Dog. Because that's one of the reasons why the game was delayed a lot.
Yeah, I get that.
Okay, she left in 2014.
2014, okay.
So yeah, it's kind of a big speedy process from 2014 to 2016, because the game was supposed to originally come out, I believe, in 2015.
Yeah.
So yeah, they did a lot, which is kind of crazy, and the game still turned out really, really good. But yeah, give me your thoughts on, do you think you like Amy's pitch better, or do you think it's a bit too cliche and how she was doing it? Personally, I said it before, I felt Amy Hemming was kind of losing her her talents in writing after Uncharted 3. That's my opinion. Hopefully it doesn't happen with the Star Wars game that she's working on with Visceral, but I'll hand it off to Inspector on his thoughts.
Like you, I think the pitch is very cliche, and I get what was she was trying to do, where she's like trying to change up the gameplay, but like I feel like the Uncharted formula doesn't need to be changed up. I think it's a proven formula that is a very marketable formula, and you could see that with how it turned out, and it did turn out great. In my opinion, I loved Uncharted 4. I would say like Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 4 are probably tied for me in terms of my favorite. Like they're like neck and neck. Um, and did you say Amy Hemming wrote Uncharted like 1 through 3?
I mean, in Uncharted 2, I think like Bruce and Neil were kind of helping her with that because Neil was still like new to the studio, and Bruce was like, I think a co-director for that game.
Yeah, like I liked Uncharted 3, even though I feel the pacing was a bit off at times. Yeah, I liked how it turned out, and now I understand why it was delayed so much, because like it was originally supposed to come out, I think in like November of 2015, something like that. And then it got moved to March, then it got moved to April, then finally came out I think May 10th of 2016.
Yeah.
And it turned out great. I loved Uncharted 4. I love like the new gameplay mechanics. The story was a bit slow in the beginning, but it picked up nicely, and I love the character interactions and all that stuff. So, and speaking of like departures, Bruce Straley actually left like earlier this week.
Yeah.
He left Naughty Dog.
We'll like talk about it like after we get the thoughts of everyone else and what that means for Last of Us and Naughty Dog in the future. But Talati, what do you think? Do you like Amy's pitch, or do you like how I know you haven't played Uncharted 4, but from what people have said about Uncharted 4's story and stuff?
That would be an interesting turn of events, I would say, from Amy's pitch. Like, I think it would. I think it'd be interesting. But I would have loved to seen it happen, but obviously it didn't happen for good reasons. But I think what we got at the end of the day was a Game of the Year nominee, and at the end of the day, it turned out good. But what Amy Hemming is Amy Hemming, isn't it?
Yeah, Amy Hemming.
Yeah. Well, if Amy Hemming got if her story got written out, I think we would have had a very, very interesting story to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
So, at the end of the day, I think we will. I wish it did happen, and I want to see how fans would have reacted to that.
I do want to say though, like, because I keep saying pitch, because she did write a lot of this, story in terms of like she wrote the story, but after the conflict and stuff like that, and Neil and Bruce had to come in. Like Neil, like did heavy rewrites and changed a lot of stuff, which to make it, his, story. Because you still get the feel, like you kind of get it, you know what I mean? Like some of it was her, like Rafe was, in the game still, and Sam was still in the game. Just wanted to put that out there. What about you, Marvel DC fan? Would you have liked to see Amy's story, or you think this story was perfect send off for the series?
Honestly, I kind of feel like everyone else, where there were some ideas where I don't think it would have worked as well. Like the whole secret brother thing was cliche, and the whole first half being melee combat, I don't think it would have really worked as well. But to be honest, I would like to see it as kind of like a comparison to the actual story of it, so we can kind of give, to see which one would be better. Like, I would see it. Like for it to actually happen in some capacity, I would take a look at it.
All right. So from now, we're going to go into still Naughty Dog news, of course. Bruce Straley did indeed leave Naughty Dog. He's been with the company for many, many years. I think might have been like 14 or 15 years, if I remember correctly. It's a lot of years. And what does this mean for Naughty Dog going forward? Do I think this is doom and gloom, or some people saying, "Oh, Naughty Dog is gonna die"? No, I don't think that, because let's say, the reason for Bruce leaving, and I believe that he took the year off. He needed the year, and then he was trying to figure out what he wanted to do with his life. It happens many times, and he wanted to probably do what Ken Levine is doing and do an indie studio, which is fine, and I hope he has great success with that. And I can tell you that Naughty Dog will have a new face like Bruce Straley, like another employee that comes in like Neil Druckmann did as well. Naughty Dog is very talented. They have a lot of talented developers, and I would like them to get the spotlight like Bruce Straley did and Neil Druckmann. And do I think this is going to affect The Last of Us 2 development? No, because he wasn't even a part of the development process for the second game. Now the question is, though, in terms of gameplay, will it be on par of The Last of Us or even better? That remains to be seen, because this is going to be Neil Druckmann's game. He won't have like a co-director like usual. He's going to be the sole director, and of course he's going to have a co-writer who is from Westworld. And I think the writing will be off the charts in this game. Two talented individuals that their expertise is writing, and I think that's going to be a big strong point for the franchise. But overall, yeah, no, I don't see this as doom and gloom, and I just think because of the workload, he had to do a lot of work at Naughty Dog and churn out the games and make them in good quality, and going from Uncharted 2 to The Last of Us to Last of Us Left Behind to Uncharted 4, not getting much breaks. So I can understand that. And yet again, just to say it again, I hope he finds success in what he's going to do. So, Inspector, what do you think about the news? Do you think it's doom and gloom, or do you think that he kind of deserves, this leaving and starting something new?
Yeah, I kind of agree with you where it's like, it's sad to see him leave. I originally was like, I wasn't say I was very doom and gloom, but it was like, oh, what's going to happen to Last of Us now? But I still have faith in Neil Druckmann. Neil Druckmann is like a great guy, a great developer. And as you said, I think there's definitely going to be like a new like face of Naughty Dog, where like Neil Druckmann, I think, has been the face for a long time, and I think he'll still be the face of Naughty Dog. But like, there will be another person to fill Bruce's shoes, and I feel like it's going to be a good person to fill Bruce's shoes, and I still can't wait for Last of Us Part 2, even though we basically like know nothing about the game.
Yeah, and it may show up at PSX. That's the big rumors going around. May. What about you, Marvel DC fan? I know you've been playing Last of Us. What do you think about this news?
Honestly, like, I don't think this really means like the end of Naughty Dog, because like when it comes to Naughty Dog, there's so many talented writers and developers, and for the projects they have upcoming now, I think we'll do just fine. But like, I kind of respect his kind of decision to leave and kind of do his own thing after, pretty much taking in a whole bunch of projects back to back to back to back. And I hope he finds success, and I hope that the future of Naughty Dog is still going strong, and a new face will come in and kind of pioneer that good future we have. So.
Yeah, and I would also like to say, look at Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. That had no relations to Neil or Bruce. That was made by the Naughty Dog devs over there, and I thought the game was pretty good. What about you, Taladio? What do you think?
I don't think it's doom and gloom. I'm sure, they'll get somebody else to come in, and they might make an even better job.
Yeah.
But obviously, I first want to say that to the person obviously who left, that I hope one day you might look on this and look back at what you've done and and say, hey, I could have made something out of this if I stayed at the studio. But it's not a doom and gloom thing. That's what I think personally.
Yeah. We all wish Bruce Straley luck in his future endeavors.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay, so we have some Xbox news, not much Xbox news, but Phil Spencer being promoted to the position of, I believe it was Executive Vice President of Gaming. And what that comes with is he gets to basically report directly to the CEO of Microsoft, who's Satya Nadella. And he gets to, probably ask for a bigger budget for the Xbox division and tell him how everything's going. And he doesn't have to go through, channels like he probably did before. What does this mean for Xbox as a whole? Hopefully good signs. Hopefully, Phil can now say, hey, we want some money to get some new developers and make it first-party studios and make new IPs. And that is my hopes. Other than that, it's like that's my criticisms for right now for Xbox is they have no games and nothing that stand out. And I want them to do, create good games in terms of that so there could be competition and it's not like domination that Sony's just destroying Microsoft. But right now good job for Phil Spencer. And hopefully he does right by the fans and the consumers of Xbox. What do you think, Inspector?
Good for him. Like, I kind of have no opinion on this since I'm mainly a PlayStation player, but good for him. Yeah, hopefully he asks for newer studios or not newer studios, but get more first party studios. And I feel the problem with Microsoft now is that all their exclusives are timed exclusives, like Tomb Raider and
Dead Rising 4
and Dead Rising, and if we look at the previous exclusives that came out, like Halo 5 kind of flopped, Gears of War 4 flopped. Forza sells Forza is steady, but Forza is a different game than those games. It's still a AAA Microsoft franchise, but it's a different game than Gears of War or Halo. Hopefully he does some good things and does right by the fans of Xbox, and that's all I have to say.
What about you, Talati? You are an owner of an Xbox. What do you think about this news?
This could potentially be some good news, especially for Xbox users, because we could finally get somebody like Phil Spencer, because now he's been promoted to higher up. Maybe there could be more exclusives coming on the way, possibly future games, AAA games, and we already getting the likes. Obviously we got Gears of War, we've got the likes of PUBG, and we've also got the likes of Forza Motorsport. Maybe we could get something along the lines of a third party, how PlayStation has their Marvel games, and they've got a PlayStation exclusive just for Spider-Man PS4. So that could potentially be for Xbox, where they could have any game, and that could be solely solely just for Xbox. I mean, if that comes to the point that if it does happen, I think it would be great. It would be really, really cool. And I think for Xbox users, this would mean it would be a dream come true for any Xbox users. So then it'll be just for Xbox users alone, and it's not going to be for PlayStation then.
Nice. What about you, Marvel DC fan? What do you think about the news?
Honestly, I'm kind of in the same boat with Inspector, where I don't really have an opinion on it. But like, I applaud him for getting higher up, and hopefully we can have some good quality Xbox titles in the future.
Nice. We have one more game to talk about, and that's Destiny 2. So I already have my issues for the first Destiny. Lackluster story, overpriced DLCs, paying basically another game just for DLCs. So we got like UK charts for Destiny 2, and it is not selling. It's selling half of what Destiny 1 sold. And to my thought process about this is essentially, I think because of the criticisms of Destiny 1 is affecting what Destiny 2 sales are going to be like. And I think Destiny 1 was one of those announcements where everyone was in awe and everyone was like, wow, this game has so much potential. And nothing came out of it. And those people like me were burnt out, and we're just like, okay, let's kind of be curious about Destiny 2. Even though it's getting positive reviews, it's not, exactly innovating in terms of that. It's just, making the experience better, having an actual storyline, tweaking things to make the experience better. But it's still Destiny, it's still the grind, and then you got the microtransactions, and then using shaders, which are colors for your armors, and it's only different pieces of armors, and those colors are only used once. So once you use like the color red on your helmet, you can't use it again for your chest piece, and then you have to grind for those colors or pay money for them. Overall, though, like. It was to be expected about this launch, and hopefully they do more stuff, and hopefully they get rid of this kind of anti-consumer for microtransactions. Don't know why I couldn't say that, but that's my thought on this. What about you, Inspector?
Wait, what was the topic again? I totally blanked.
Just Destiny 2 having 50% off sales.
Yeah,
the previous.
I compare Destiny to the kind of the Titanfall situation, where like when Titanfall was announced, it was like, oh my god, it looks so amazing, so innovative, and it came out and it was kind of like Destiny, where like I don't want to say it was unfinished, but like the story was barely there. It was mainly multiplayer. And like the player base just dropped off. I think didn't the player base for like the first Titanfall drop off like 50% after the first month?
Yeah, I think so.
Something like that. Then Titanfall 2 came out last year, and like I don't think it sold as well as the first Titanfall.
Yeah.
And there wasn't that many pre-orders, kind of like and Destiny with Destiny 2, because Destiny I think was 2013.
Mm-hmm.
And like people still have like a sour taste in their mouth from the first Destiny, and as you said, it's a grind, and not a lot of people like grinding. There are some people that love grinding and like love that stuff, but like I feel like it's EA that makes Destiny, right?
Activision's the publisher.
Activision.
Developer is Bungie.
Oh yeah, well, Activision kind of always has shady business practices, so like I don't expect them to
change.
I don't expect them to change. They're kind of like EA, where it's like oh, EA, they're going to give you this game, but then you have to pay like for EA Origin, and you have to pay for all these other things and all that stuff. So I don't think Activision is going to change anytime soon. It's how they do business, and it works for them.
Yeah. What about you, Marvel DC fan? What do you think about the news about the 50% less than Destiny 1 launch for the UK?
Honestly, like whenever I don't really have an opinion because when it comes to Destiny, like literally anything, any news, it's like I just kind of shut my brain off and like it's just I don't really care that much.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah.
What about you, Taladia? What do you think?
Destiny 2 is a grind out game, and that game is addictive, very, very addictive. I have a friend who's actually playing this game right now, and it's like 3 a.m. in the morning, and as soon as he's got this game, he can't stop playing it. He's like, oh, I'm addicted to playing this game now. You got these, public raids. You've got all these, different things. So it is a fun game. So, but if I was, I forgot what you were gonna say. What were you gonna say?
Wait, what?
What?
For a second.
No one's going to say anything. Go on.
No, I just think that Destiny 2 is a fun game, and I think people should. If you want to, if you are looking to get it, I would highly recommend it. It's a fun game to play with friends. So, yeah.
All right, that's the game side of things. We're gonna go into the trailers because there were 3 trailers that dropped today. I seen the Jumanji. My thoughts are still the same. The movie's gonna suck. They're still using the same damn song. They showed the board, and that was it. And then it's back to the video games. They have 3 lives. It's still they're throwing jokes, hoping those jokes land on the wall and stick, and they're not funny at all. I didn't laugh once, and then I laughed at the joke that the Punisher in the Punisher trailer that they do. I laughed there than I did here, and I was just like, "What is this movie trying to be?" I feel like it was so unnecessary, and you have this. Okay, Kevin Hart and The Rock. I feel like this is really going on thin ice with them, and so many times they're on screen because this is, I believe, what the I don't want to say the 3rd time or the 2nd time that they're on the screen together.
3rd time.
3rd time? Okay. Yeah, I'm just getting sick of the dynamic. It's like, I know you guys are friends, and I understand that, but it's just not working for me anymore. Like, after the 2nd movie I see of you guys, it's just starting to grow stale. And overall, it's just this movie wasn't meant to be. I don't know why Sony does this with some of the movies. So it's just you got movies like Baby Driver, and then you got movies like this. It's like, wow, you got something of quality, you got something that's shit. Overall, for that trailer, because we're gonna just talk about all the trailers and our thoughts, and even though we didn't see it, if anyone's planning to see it, Rise of the Tomb Raider, haven't seen it. I will do a reaction to it tomorrow and do some other videos. I can say though, I played the first Tomb Raider reboots, didn't care for the stories, loved the gameplay, and hopefully the story is good. I have no idea. Don't really have a comment.
Do you mind if I say my piece about?
Well, yeah. I'll go to you after I'm done with all the trailers. My thoughts.
Okay.
So the last trailer, Punisher, just can say that thing was well edited, well directed in scenes. The action is amazing. They're not shying away from the violence, and I wasn't gonna expect that we were gonna have these like deep scenes to me was kind of reminiscent to the feel like in the beginning of the trailer, of course, like Logan-esque in a way, and how like deep it is. And of course, this is the same dude that worked on Hannibal, and Hannibal was an amazing show and should have got a lot of recognition in terms like Emmy wise. And overall, I was just like, yeah, Punisher was the best trailer for me that I've seen. I can't say anything about Tomb Raider because I haven't seen it. I will probably make my thoughts known on that trailer once I see it. But overall, yeah, I really love the Punisher trailer, and Jumanji trailer was shit. Okay, Taladia.
Okay, guys, if you guys haven't seen it in the chat, or Marvel Rental, you guys obviously haven't seen it yet. You guys probably want to deafen this because I want to give my thoughts. But here's what I think. The trailer looked amazing. The dynamic of the actress who's playing Lara Croft, looks deep. The direction that they're going for it looks really, really cool. It almost looks like the close enough to the video game of the reboot, the definitive edition Tomb Raider. It looks close enough near to that. I would also say you guys are in for a treat for the Tomb Raider movie, so to be on the lookout for that. But in terms of the other trailers, I watched the Punisher trailer. I was looking up online. I watched that, and I enjoyed that. I think that's going to be a really interesting series to watch on Netflix. I wonder what direction they'll go after the first few episodes. What else would they do with this? Also, as well, I'm also looking for, but I wasn't looking forward to Jumanji because it's not the same as the original. I mean, I watched the original Jumanji, and I was like, damn, Jumanji, the original Jumanji was awesome, but this just like a ripoff. That's my honest opinion on that.
Yeah, like the original had heart, it had magic, like so to speak.
Yeah,
this had none of that. It's just
it was just like no lions, no tigers, nothing. You're just like thrown into a video game.
And then it tries to be really heavy action oriented and trying to be comedic at the same time. So, yeah. What about you, Marvel DC fan? What about these trailers? Your thoughts?
Okay, I'm gonna start from the worst to like the best, and I'm gonna start Jumanji because I haven't actually seen the trailer, but I'm gonna give my thoughts about pretty much the movie itself. It's just a glorified paycheck. Like that's it. Like there's no heart, there's no anything. Like it's The Rock and Kevin Hart. They're all in there because they're popular actors, and it's just they only did it because there was money involved, and like that saddens me because Jumanji is a childhood favorite of mine, and to see it kind of like this where it's just a pile of crap, like that upsets me a lot, and like I hate it. Tomb Raider, at the end of the trailer when I finished watching it, I was kind of in a feeling where I was both interested in what I saw but also turned off at the same time. Like I don't know what about it that kind of made me feel that, but it just kind of left me in that like sort of idea when I finished it. But Punisher, no, I was really excited about that. I thought the trailer was awesome. Everything looked really cool. The action, and it had some emotion to it, which obviously it should have. And I'm really hoping this does well, and so we can see an actual true Punisher, unlike Thomas Jane and the other movies and that kind of stuff. Daredevil season 2 was like a good starting off point, but I hope we really get to see that fantastic Punisher that we've all been waiting for.
Yeah, exactly. I do want to say though, John Berthel is a phenomenal actor. I said this in my reaction. Like he could just continue doing movies and doesn't give a fuck about Netflix and Marvel, but he still does it. He still goes out of his way and does like the Netflix and Marvel show. And
did you know it was his birthday today?
Yeah, I was surprised. It was released right on his birthday. I was like, damn. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm assuming that was intentional, and I really enjoy that they did this. And that was a great birthday gift for him. And maybe he didn't see it, and then he just saw it when it was released. Like, damn, this is a great birthday present. What else? His acting was phenomenal. Like in Daredevil, and in this, I was just like, geez, this guy's a good actor. And you see that in The Accountant as well. Even though he didn't have many lines, he's still, his delivery is on point. And I can't wait. Rumors are Moon Knight might show up. Just not him in a costume or anything. Like just a possible entry point, and then they can further explore that in a series about him, if that is true. That's just a rumor right now. What about you, Inspector? What do you think about these trailers?
I didn't see the Jumanji one, but I'm not interested in Jumanji. I share all of you guys' opinions on Jumanji. The first trailer was atrocious, and none of the actors are into it. The Rock is just there because he's The Rock and he'll get people in the seats. I want to punch Kevin Hart in the face every time I see him in a movie because he's just so annoying. For Tomb Raider, I thought the trailer was okay. It was a very standard trailer. It didn't really blow me away, but Alicia Vikander, who plays Lara Croft, she looks great. And a lot of people were pointing out on the poster that her neck was really long, and people thought that was Photoshop, but it's not. Her neck is actually that long. I don't know how people will take that, but she looks great as Lara. And I find it weird that they're kind of combining both of the stories of the reboot and Rise of the Tomb Raider. Like, I don't know how that will work out because there was kind of like two totally different stories. Like in the first Tomb Raider, that was more about like magic and like the Shogun and like the gods, and like Rise was just basically like a typical Tomb Raider game where you're just trying to find the treasure and you're fighting this rogue group. Like I would compare Rise, like Rise was still like, I guess, like more mature than like I would compare Rise to more of like an Uncharted 4 type of game. I've never played them, but I know like the story beats of them. So I find it interesting that they're combining both of them, but I don't know how it'll turn out. And speaking of Alicia Vikander, I find it funny that like she's Swedish, she's from Sweden, but all of her big roles so far, whether it be this one or in Ex Machina, she always has a British accent, which I find interesting. I don't know why they just don't. I get it for Lara Croft because she's British, but it's weird that they gave her like a different accent than her regular one. I'm looking forward to Tomb Raider. Like I haven't seen a video game movie since I think the last video game movie that I saw was in theaters was I think Prince of Persia.
Oh yeah.
And I enjoyed that one. I thought that was decent. The one with Jake Gyllenhaal. I thought that was decent. I basically skipped everyone since Assassin's Creed didn't see, Warcraft didn't see. Yeah, but for Punisher, I haven't seen the Punisher trailer, but I'm looking forward to just seeing the series in general. I actually haven't seen the Defenders yet, but I've actually heard I've heard good, not great things about the Defenders. I heard Iron Fist is still like really marginalized in Defenders.
Yeah, I mean he was a bit better in the Defenders. Like I've said this to people. Like I think a lot of people's complaints was it was a bit slow in the beginning in terms of everyone getting together, but like I understood why they did that and not just rushed it.
But I don't
that
know
was
if
kind of
you,
my like.
But opinion. I don't know if you know Red Hood. He is the immortal Iron Fist.
Dude,
I didn't know that.
More than
dude,
any
I
of the
love
hands.
dude, I love his fucking. I don't know. I get a kick every time he says. I don't know why. I just start to chuckle. Maybe it's supposed to be funny. That's why I'm laughing.
I guess.
Anytime.
I guess we can move on.
Okay, so I mean, quick tidbit: Watchmen begins productions. They're in the writing room, beginning with that. I'll say this, and I'll say it again. I'm very excited for it. HBO was a good choice to have them develop this TV show. And I'm hyped. Not much to say there. Everyone, let's go. Really quick thoughts, Inspector. What do you think?
I find it interesting. As I said before we started, this show has kind of been in development hell for the past few years, and Damon Lindelof, who's most famous for Lost, he's the showrunner and I think the main writer. So I'm interested. I don't know how long this show is going to last. I don't think a Watchmen show could last more than 2 seasons. But I get they're trying to find the new Game of Thrones, since Game of Thrones is ending next year.
Oh, but
So
no lie, they're doing like 8 prequels.
oh,
for
Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and I don't know if they're going to do like the before Watchmen type thing, or if it's just going to be like the book. Where it's just like 12 episodes and like it goes over the book, or I don't know what they're gonna do. So I'm interested. I'm still a little bit hesitant, just because like I liked Zack Snyder's Watchmen movie, and I know Alan Moore hates whenever people use the Watchmen as like he's in his case like, oh, I'm Alan Moore, I don't like people using Watchmen. Like
I mean, it's kind of the same thing with what's his name? Oh shit. The dude that does the Dark Knight.
Christopher Nolan?
No. Sorry, Dark Knight Returns.
Oh, Frank Miller.
Frank Miller. Okay, so you know he did Daredevil and he created Elektra.
Yeah.
Right, dude. He hates when people use Elektra with a passion. Even like the Daredevil series, he hates that shit. I was just like, geez, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, Frank Miller is just crazy because he's like crazy old Uncle Frank Miller.
Yeah, whenever like I see Frank Miller now, and like I'm picturing him watching Daredevil season 2 or whatever.
What is this, Elektra?
Yeah, he's just like, not enough ass.
Let me guess, he's like Tim Bruce.
Nah, I mean, I wouldn't go that far. I would not go that far.
Yeah.
Wow. So yeah, I'm interested. I still have my reservations though.
Yeah, no, I have no problems with HBO shelling out the money for this, like, you know, CGI and shit like that for the show, because Dr. Manhattan's gonna need it.
I just wonder if like they went to Alan Moore in his cave.
Oh shit!
Permission. Because Alan Moore has basically been a recluse ever since like Watchmen came out, or like ever since the 90s.
They might have just put like a truckload of money in that cave.
Red Hood, those blue balls aren't gonna pay for themselves.
Oh shit! Oh, I don't know if they'll do that like they did in Zack's.
I know he hated to watch like just the idea of the Watchmen movie, and I don't know if he also hated before Watchmen, and I don't know what his opinions on
Doomsday Clock.
On Doomsday Clock, I don't know what his opinions are there. I bet he's. I mean, I bet since it's Jeff Johns, and basically like what people don't know is that like Jeff Johns' entire Green Lantern run was basically based off an Alan Moore book from the 80s. So like the whole Blackest Prophecy and like Necron and the Seven Cores, that was all Alan Moore, like in this book from 1980s. Like, oh, I'm going to create this war of the Lanterns, and Jeff Johns just expanded that.
Yeah.
All right. So thoughts, Taladia? Real quick opinions.
Well, I'm interested to watch it, but obviously HBO is not in the UK. So that means I've got no really opinions on that. But if
Are you gonna be a pirate?
Illegally
No.
download.
No, that's a friend of mine. See if they can record it for me, and tell me what they thought on it.
Nice. What about you, Marvel DC fan?
I'm excited, and I'm really curious to see how they can kind of push Watchmen into, like with Watchmen, it's how are they going to make it into a TV show? Like I'm curious to see how they're going to do that. And with HBO, they're good, so I'm excited. Like that's really all I have to say about that.
Okay. So now we're going into essentially Inhumans next week. Everyone's going to tune in just for Inhumans. No, I'm lying right now. No one's going to tune in for Inhumans. Everyone's tuning in for the Avengers Infinity War trailer. Oh my gosh. I wonder when people are watching this shit, they're going to be like, dude, this is fucking awful. Hopefully this trailer gets us through 2 episodes worth of fucking content to watch.
Wait,
Just
it's gonna be within humans?
Yeah, that's like the big thing going around right now. It's like what the Age of Ultron was gonna do.
For once, it's not gonna be on Kimmel.
Yeah, for once. No, it's because they're gonna boost Inhumans. That's all that's gonna happen. Is because Inhumans is trash. Everyone knows. Scott Buck ruined it.
And guess what? They're gonna do the same thing with Gotham, where like people like. I think there was one episode of Gotham like a couple years ago where it's like, oh, there's gonna be a clip from Batman v Superman attached to Gotham.
Oh,
and
yeah, I
people
remember
were
that.
like,
Oh God.
when is it gonna happen? Like, of course it happened like right after the episode ended, so people have to wait through an entire episode of Gotham.
That means we have to wait 2 episodes? Good gosh.
Yeah, you have to wait till the end of the episode to see the trailer.
But the thing is, it's 2 episodes for Inhumans.
Oh, it's like a 2-hour premiere?
Yes, like they did with the IMAX thing. So yeah, it's gonna be 2 episodes. I'm gonna die.
Yeah, that's gonna I shake my head to that.
Me, it's just like it'll be online eventually.
Yeah, I'll just wait until like it's online like a half hour after.
That's like I mean it's kind of smart, but like geez. Inhumans is just
I mean at least I get why they didn't put on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is on a later time slot now. But the thing is people stayed up for whenever Kimmel had a trailer, so and Kimmel was like an hour later than Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So
but yeah, overall, do you think the marketing strategy for this is on point? Do you think they'll entice people to continue watching Inhumans? Let's go around. No. All right, we gotta know. What about you, Marvel DC fan?
I mean, like, I like the idea of, like, for a TV show, like, if they're gonna tease anything for, like, a movie related to it, just put it at the end of the episode or something. But the thing about it is that Inhumans is not a good show, and I don't want to watch it. Like, it's just
it just makes you want to rage.
It's just
on ABC at like 8:55.
Last
like
minute.
Near the end of the
Last
episode.
minute, boys. Okay, what about you? We got 2 no's. What about you, Salati?
I'm a no as well. Here's what I think. With the Inhumans, everyone didn't like it at IMAX, right?
Yeah.
Now, if they're gonna do it 2 hours, people on TV aren't gonna even tune in to that shit. They'll be like, fuck that shit. We're not going to do that. Sorry for the swearing, obviously. They'll be like, no, I'm not going to watch this shit. But, instead of them doing a 2-hour, why didn't they just make it like half of what they showed at IMAX and the other half will make it into 2 separate episodes?
Well, I mean, IMAX, they showed both those episodes. I think they're just gonna do this. That's what they said. They're gonna do the same thing how they premiered in IMAX, but on TV format.
That sucks.
But also with commercials.
Yeah, but do you think people are gonna tune into commercials and all of that? I don't think
some dedicated Marvel fans.
Well,
maybe dedicated Marvel fans, but not the casual viewers.
Well, I'd rather watch the commercials than actually watch the show itself.
That's fired. My bet is Marvel TV division is gonna fire Scott Buck after Inhumans.
I'm guessing the same thing as well. They're just gonna fire him.
I feel he's not gonna get any work after Inhumans. Like he's got. This is strike 3. First it was Dexter, and then it was Iron Fist, and now it's Inhumans. Like this is strike 3.
You're out.
So, yeah, you're out, Scott Buck. Stop. Studios, stop hiring Scott Buck. He ruins every show he's on.
Exactly.
Yep, he's basically the David S. Goya of TV.
Oh yeah. All right, so we're done with that. Quick question: you think that the trailer for Avengers: Infinity War is it going to be the Comic-Con or just a different trailer? Because I was talking to Taladia like a couple of days ago, and I was saying, like, to me, usually in any time Marvel shows a Comic-Con trailer, like Avengers Age of Ultron, for instance, and then when they showed the official trailer, it was nothing from that original trailer from Comic-Con. So what do you guys think? I'm on the boat. It's going to be different than what they showed at Hall H.
I feel it's going to be half and half.
You think half and half? Okay.
Yeah. Like it could be both. Where like it could be like the Comic-Con trailer, but with a few little things different from it, or it could just be something else entirely. But that would mean that, like, literally right after they finished doing the Comic-Con trailer, they literally just went to work on a new trailer for that date. So
True.
I think it's just kind of like a half and half thing where it's mostly the Comic-Con thing, but with a few little pieces and stuff kind of changed around to make it different.
Okay. What about you, Taladia?
Well, you already Red. I already told Red my thoughts on this, but I will tell you anyway. Secondly, I think it'll just be the same thing we got as Comic-Con, because here's the reason behind that. The reason is because Marvel officially didn't release the trailer, even though it got leaked online, and it wasn't a very clear footage of it. And I know lots and lots of people were looking for the trailer. So I think when it comes down to conclusion, it'll be the point where Marvel will be like, all right, we'll just release the trailer. We'll give them what we got at Comic-Con. We're not going to show them anything new. It's just be the same footage. And, and it'll be a clear cut of it. And it'll be like what movie was it again, Red Hood, that got leaked online and DC didn't show it until...
Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
There we go, Suicide Squad. So it's going to be a similar thing to Suicide Squad. That's what I think will be the case.
Well, I think Marvel is more like thick-skinned than DC. Because the thing with DC is that, like, for Suicide Squad, like, they gave in, like, right away to the pressure. Like, it took them a month to give in to the pressure. For here, Marvel has more thick skin, and they're doing what they do, whereas, like, they show a trailer. I think that's a problem with Marvel, is that they show a trailer that is like, I get why they want to keep their trailers exclusive, because it makes the fans and Hall H more like they earn the trailer. But, like, people have been waiting for this trailer since July, so, like, I get why you're holding it, but
like, I know what you mean. It's like they need to, like, if they're gonna do something a Hall H in Comic-Con, at least try and put something out on the same day, like what Zack Snyder did for Justice League.
Mm-hmm.
They should just do it like that.
Yeah, I was thinking like a quick snippet or something, like 10 seconds.
Because here's the thing, the trailer is gonna leak.
Yeah.
Like, even though security at Hall H is, I guess, gotten better, and, like, they put, like, connection dampeners in the hall, it's like,
There's still going to be that one slip.
Hey man, dude,
there's
the
still gonna be
potato
those
camera still
people
works.
with the potato cam.
The potato cam
trailer.
always works.
That potato cam where like half the screen is blocked by a person's head.
Oh, dude.
So you can't.
Everyone like says like the comment that shit. Like, why the fuck is that person's head there? It's like if I was a recorder, I would have like slapped his head.
And plus,
Yeah,
and plus everyone's yelling, so you can't hear the audio in the trailer.
Yeah, and it's like, I think what would have been the best solution for Marvel is just to release that trailer. At Comic-Con, they should have just released the Comic-Con trailer at Comic-Con officially, and it would have made more logical sense for them, and then they wouldn't be under pressure for people demanding the trailer, a few months down the line. Now we've got to this conclusion that we are getting a trailer, and I think it is going to be this point where Marvel will just be like, all right, we'll just show the same shit as we showed at Comic-Con, because, well, I'm not shitting on DC, I'm not shitting on Marvel, but I'm just saying because of, we've had experiences with other companies where they've had to show the same trailer repeatedly, so I mean,
I kind of feel like with that idea though, like if they just put out like the Comic-Con trailer, then it's kind of a slap in the face for the people that actually went to Hall H to see it.
mhm.
Because it ruins the magic of Hall H. Like it's a trailer exclusive to that.
Which I kind of agree, but it's got to the point where they didn't release anything though. They could have released something. I mean, yeah, if they released something on that day, right, at Comic-Con, official trailer, I think it would have made more logical sense then to release the second trailer, the official trailer one. Like next week, it would have made more logical sense to show a little bit something different.
But here's the thing: wasn't the same footage that was shown at Comic-Con the same that was shown at D23?
Yeah. Yes, it was.
Yeah.
So
it's like, I mean, I'm not too sure, but I mean, if they might do it, but who knows? I think they should just show both trailers, like the Comic-Con trailer officially, and to show the new trailer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
if they did both of that, like obviously don't be simultaneously, one after the other, but it could be like one the new one coming out this month, and then this Comic-Con trailer to come out, in a few months' time, just to hype up the movie again, because Avengers Infinity War doesn't come out until March, what's it called? May, I believe. Yeah, May. So so I think in that terms, I think it would be better off if they just shoot 2 trailers this year and leave for the last final trailer, be that for January or February.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think about the Infinity War trailer.
Yeah. Overall, yeah. This trailer is gonna present itself, and we'll see if it changed or it didn't change. And
but what's so convenient about that is that it's coming a week before Justice League. Just saying, guys.
Wait, what?
It comes a week. I think it's a week before Justice League, isn't it? That's what you said, Red Hood.
It comes out next week.
It comes out next Friday.
Next Friday.
Yeah. So it's a week before the Justice League trailer. Justice League trailer comes out Comic-Con on the 5th. 5th or 6th, I believe.
Is that confirmed, or is that just a rumor?
That was confirmed on the internet.
Really? Because
I saw it on.
I have a problem with that, because that's the same day that the Doomsday Clock panel is, and I don't think they want to
No, it's going to be a different panel to that. I'm pretty sure.
I know, but I don't think they want to cannibalize their own panel on Doomsday Clock, because Doomsday Clock is a huge thing, and Doomsday Clock comes out the Wednesday after Justice League comes out. So
yeah, but I mean, I saw this on Instagram. Like, it wasn't a person, but it was like stuff to do with DC related, and all I saw was Justice League trailer going to be at the next Comic-Con, New York Comic-Con, and I was like, okay, that's interesting. So that comes out at New York. if they're going to show it at New York Comic Con, then that's a bonus. But now we're hearing that Avengers Infinity War, that means it's going to be a real treat for us to see both for Marvel and DC. Just saying.
Yeah. So we'll get into Star Wars now. Because we didn't actually talk about it last episode.
No, we did not. We did not.
J.J. Abrams is taking over Episode 9, and Colin is, stepping down. Quick thoughts on Colin. Thought he was a terrible choice for Episode 9, Jurassic World. I'll turn my brain off. But J.J. Abrams, I would have rather preferred Rian Johnson, but I can understand why. Chris Terrio is on board with co-writing with J.J. Abrams for the Star Wars Episode 9 script. And they pushed it back to also Christmas again, 2019, I believe, because, J.J. Abrams needs the time to film. Now, people say it's going to be a Return of the Jedi, remake. And I say to those people, the reason why I loved Episode 7, even though I have flaws with Rey's character at points in the movie, I still liked it. I still enjoyed it. But the reason why it kind of had the essence of A New Hope was it's because it's, starting off for so many years of not doing Star Wars and to get fans on board with it. And I thought it was a good entry point. And I totally believe Episodes 8 is going to be probably the best out of the bunch. And then the third one out of the trilogy will be the second best. And then you got Chris, and I respect Chris as a writer, and I think he's going to do a great job in writing Justice League because, we never really seen his true writing capabilities with Batman v Superman because he didn't do a big overhaul on the script. It was still, Goyer's ideas and stuff, even though, I hate Goyer, and he is still doing that really bad show. And for Krypton and stuff like that. And overall, people need to stop kind of crapping on Chris because we haven't seen what he's capable of, which is Justice League. That is going to be his script, his story to write, and his dialogues.
But Red Hood, Joss Whedon has rewrote the entire script twice.
Oh, yeah.
According to rumors.
Well, those rumors are a little bit insane. I mean, I just don't understand with those rumors. We'll get into all those stuff and what people are saying. Overall, I think it's a solid choice. It's not an extra great choice, like it should have been with Rian Johnson. But I can understand Rian Johnson coming from smaller movies, taking on this big project. He just wants to step back, relax, and de-stress out and stuff. What do you think, Inspector, about this?
I'm indifferent. I thought Episode 7 was I enjoyed Episode 7. I didn't love it. I enjoyed it. I get it's weird how shills work, where the DC shills are crapping on Abrams, but the Marvel shills are crapping on Terrio. So it's it's a never-ending battle with shills.
Oh.
But give Terrio a break. As you said, I don't blame the script issues with Batman v Superman on him. I blame it on Goyer because it was mainly Goyer's ideas still in the script. He was just cleaning it up.
Yeah, and he was kind of rushed as well when cleaning it up.
He was kind of rushed, and you can definitely tell what scenes were his. You could definitely tell the Batman parts were Terrio because those were the best parts of the movie, and the Superman parts were kind of middling because they were still Goyer. Because Goyer has a really bleak outtake on what superheroes are, and he I'm not ashamed in saying this that David Goyer hates superheroes. He hates the concept of what superheroes are. He's kind of like the Brian Azzarello of the comic book movie world, where that I know there are fans of Brian Azzarello, but I'm not a fan of him. Where he loves deconstructing like concepts and heroes and like villains and stuff. So I can kind of compare David S. Goyer to Brian Azzarello, but David S. Goyer has more of like a hostile attitude. Like he called anyone who likes Martian Manhunter like a virgin. He thinks She-Hulk. He thinks She-Hulk is a whore. Like
oh, damn.
Like yeah, he
Wow.
has a bunch of big opinions on superheroes and stuff. So like that's why a lot of people hate Goyer, and that's why I want him off Green Lantern Corps. Like I won't be excited for Green Lantern Corps if Goyer's still like if DC is going for a more like fun, quote unquote, and light tone, like get rid of Goyer, get get Jeff Johns in there because he actually knows how to write Green Lantern since he wrote him for 10 years. And like get another screenwriter, like have another screenwriter team with Jeff Johns. That's not David Goyer, but yeah, like I don't mind JJ. I think he's good, and um as you said with Calm, like when he was first announced, I'm like I don't think he's the best choice because like you, I wasn't a big fan of Jurassic World. I thought it was, as you said, like just turn off your brain, really stupid. Like it was basically like a popcorn movie, and I know people hate that term, but it was the definition of a popcorn movie. Jurassic World was. So I don't want to say I'm happy that he's gone because that I don't want to seem insensitive about it, but like I guess I'm looking forward to episode 9, and people are saying now that since it moved to December that like, oh, is Wonder Woman gonna move? Like to me, I don't think Wonder Woman has anywhere to move to. Because like it comes out a week after it comes out a week before Star Wars. So people are saying, oh, it's gonna eat up all the box office. Star Wars is gonna eat up all the box office. But a month before that, the Bond 25 comes out. So it can't move up because then we'll have to compete with Bond. And like, say what you want about Bond, but that's Paramount's biggest franchise, or Sony's biggest franchise, not Paramount.
Well, we don't know who the franchise belongs to now because we're still, they're still in negotiations. I don't know how that works though. With like,
and supposedly WB is aiming for the rights. Just imagine if WB gets the rights to Bond, so they have the rights to Bond and
yeah, and then it still be track on schedule, and
yeah.
like that. So then they're really stuck. It's like they're gonna have to delay a movie, or
But the thing is, they already have like an untitled DC movie scheduled for February.
Yeah.
So I don't think they have another DC movie scheduled, I think, for June or July. So I don't think they want like oversaturation in the market. So it's hard to tell with like where Wonder Woman is going to move. I think it's going to like stand its ground, and like if it suffers with box office with Star Wars, like I think it's fine. Like judging by how much legs the first movie had, like it just ended its run, I think, with 819 million worldwide and 411 million domestic, and that's huge.
Yeah, but like a counter argument could be made. Like I'll be devil's advocate. Like a spin-off film, like Rogue One made like $1 billion, which is kind of insane for a spin-off film to do so.
Did Rogue One made $1 billion? I thought it only made like 800.
No, it was $1 billion. It was in the $1 billion cup. I can check just in case, because I'm pretty sure like it was. Star Wars Rogue One, billion.
Yeah, it made a little bit over 1 million. Like it just passed the $1 million. $1 billion. I mean, yeah.
Which is kind of insane to think about, like a spin-off film to do something like that, rather than what do you call it, like a staple point, or the main storylines, whatever
Yeah.
Star Wars things you call it. Yeah, that would be like Devil's Advocate.
Yeah.
So and it's the last of the trilogy too for the Star Wars films until like whenever they make a new trilogy. So yeah, okay, we got your take, Inspector. Talati, what do you think about the news?
What can I say? I think the new writer for the Justice League will make a good job, but I agree with what Inspector said. Though, what Inspector said is he's right in every shape or form. I don't think what's it called, David S. Goyer should have been a writer for Batman vs Superman. I mean, he did the wrong. He had the wrong idea for what Superman should have been, and he turned it into a mess essentially.
Mm-hmm.
If you know what I mean, it's like some of the when we got the theatrical cut for Batman vs Superman, some of the dialogue wasn't right, and
Yeah.
I was like, no, this is definitely David S. Goyer's doing. But when it came to the actual some of the other scenes though, when we watched the Ultimate Edition, then you notice the difference completely, and then you could see what the difference is. But I agree with what Inspector said though, 100%.
What about you, Marvel DC fan? What do you think about the news of J.J. Abrams? Returning to the Star Wars franchise and with Chris, co-writing and all of that.
There's not really much of an opinion to be said, but the only thing I'm probably gonna say is that I hope that they kind of continue that good streak, like kind of continue that fun they had with episode 7 and kind of continue it on with the other episodes. So we could have, a great kind of trilogy of Star Wars films since the originals. But yeah, that's really it.
Oh, by the way, I just wanted to say sorry about I just totally got off track there. I was just focusing on something else. But
got you.
But with episode 9, I think J.J. Abrams is going to do well though. So that's my opinion on that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we got 2 more topics. One is facts and our thoughts, and the others will be opinions and a kind of rant. So we have now Matthew Vaughn does confirm now that he still is in talks to make a Superman, Man of Steel Superman movie sequel. So essentially, what he said his take would be is that we would have a modern take of the Christopher Reed's story, Christopher Reed's Superman. And I'm totally fine with that. People will say, well, we had one with Superman Returns. It's like it wasn't executed well. It wasn't done well. And I feel Matthew Vaughn understands, characters and understands source materials. He reads comics. He reads books. And he understands how to make, good movies, and he proves that with X-Men First Class. He proves that with Kingsman, and potentially proves it with the sequel to Kingsman, which is Golden Circle. But then the question remains to be said is is essentially, well, he's also doing a sequel, a trilogy of movies for the Kingsman. So we'll have a 2019 movie for Kingsman, because the original Kingsman came out in 2015. This movie comes out in 2017. And they've got also another 2 years to wait for the third, Kingsman movie to come out. And then we got another 2 years until a sequel to Man of Steel. Granted, we'll still have Superman show up in other films. But do you think Warner Brothers are going to hire Matthew Vaughn? And do you guys think he actually understands the character and doing this type of process and saying, "Oh, we're going to do the modern take on Christopher Reeve's Superman." We'll start with Inspector.
To be honest, I don't think Matthew Vaughn is going to get the job because I think this was basically a marketing ploy for Matthew Vaughn because he's like, "Oh, I want to make a third Kingsman movie." So I'm just gonna say, like, he confirmed like he was in talks. That doesn't mean like he's confirmed for the movie. And I feel the problem with his statements is that he worded them badly because the way he worded them is like, I want to do a modern take on Donner Superman. Go back to the source material. I think you could have worded that better because the way you worded that, it seems like you think the Donner films are the source material for Superman. I think that's what people misinterpreted about his quotes. Like, Matthew Vaughn like isn't my first choice, but I would say like I'm indifferent on like a modern version of Donner Superman just because I feel Donner Superman fit well. Like the Christopher Reeve Superman fit well for the time that it was in. And I don't know if it will fit necessarily for the time we're in now. I think like the campy version. I don't know, like I don't like when they say modern, like that's a very vague term. Like
Yeah.
a modern like that's a really vague word to describe like a retelling.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if what it means like is it going to be like a complete like modernization of the Reeve Superman, or is it just maybe like a Superman movie just with like Donner inspirations, kind of like what Wonder Woman was?
Yeah,
where, like,
that's what I took it as. It's like inspiration from that. It's not going to be this doom and gloom Superman that we've been getting.
Yeah.
It's more hopeful. It's everything you would get from like the comics and stuff like that. That's what I took from it. That's not where I was like, this is going to be straight up campy. I don't think Matthew Vaughn hasn't really made like campy films like that. So
like well, Kingsman is like really over the top.
Oh, Kingsman is over the top, but I don't like consider it like campy. Like,
yeah,
I don't know how to give you a comparison. Like, what's a really campy film?
Like
a campy film would be like something like Batman 1966.
Yeah, I wouldn't say like that type of campy.
Like Batman Forever.
Yeah. But like I he was going like as type of film. Inspiration's coming from that.
Like
I think you go.
Like I would look forward to it. As I said, he's not my first choice, but like I would look forward to it. Like I like Matthew Vaughn. I like his previous movies.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he would do a good job.
Okay, what about you, Taladia? What do you think? What are your takes on his comments, and what did you perceive those comments as?
My thoughts on Matthew Vaughn, firstly, is if he's going to direct the Man of Steel sequel, my thoughts are that he's the right man for the job in terms of even though he hasn't done comic books movies before, but seeing his work, especially with Kingsman, Secret Service, and
he did X-Men First Class.
He did X-Men First Class.
But not DC movies I'm talking about.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
So,
wasn't he involved in Kick-Ass also?
Was he?
Yeah, but
that wasn't.
Yeah, he was involved. Like, yeah, he directed the first Kick-Ass.
I didn't know that.
But yeah, like he hasn't done a DC movie. He's mainly like he's mainly done like all these like Mark Millar
more like
books.
indie, like
more like indie because Kingsman is a Mark Millar book, and so is Kick-Ass. So
So I think personally, though, he might do a really good job. He might actually, make Superman the sequel to Superman. That movie could be a sequel for Hope, a proper Hope movie, and it will represent a much brighter Superman, and it won't be doom, it won't be look gloomy, but obviously it won't be dark and gritty. It'd be more hopeful and more brighter. That is if he does take the job, though. I mean, if WB do indeed hire him, but if they do hire him, we probably won't get the movie till probably what 2020, 2021.
Yeah.
Give or take. Because obviously Henry Cavill's already working on several different projects, especially like the likes of Mission Impossible 6, Justice League. Then he's got to be participating in the the Shazam movie and all of these other projects. So I'm guessing it's most likely going to be 2020, 2021 before we get the sequel to Man of Steel, which, if that is Matthew Vaughn does take if he gets hired, that is. But as a whole, I do think that for him to say, "Oh, I'm going to use the source of Christopher Reeve's direction," I think no, that's the wrong wording to say. I would rather for him to have said, "Look, we're going to go look at the source material, such as possibly from something like the 1990s or to early 2000s, and look at the comic books from those types of eras, because those types of eras did have some really good comics." And you had All-Star Superman was in 2011, I believe.
It was in 2005.
Oh, sorry, yeah, 2005. So you could have something like that. There's also other comics that have come before this that actually were really, really good, and you could do a story about that. So, what else? There is that Brainiac movie. That Superman Unbound movie, which is like which Jeff Johns wrote the actual comic book too. So you could do a similar thing to that, but live action. I wouldn't mind seeing that actually. So my honest opinion though is that if not Jeff Johns, Matthew Vaughn does get hired, he might make a really good job of it. He won't make it into a mess, I don't think.
All right. Lastly, I'm gonna be doing a quick little tiny segment in between until we get into a type of rant. Want to do some recommendations for some comics I've read. It's gonna only be 2 because I don't want to go into much. For the Marvel side of things, even though Generations is lacking, the only Generation comic I kind of actually enjoyed quite a bit was I believe it was Wolverine Generations or something like that. I thought it was very touching. I really enjoyed the artwork for it and the character interactions with each other. And it had its highs with the emotions, and I thoroughly enjoyed that read for Generations Wolverine. And I do also enjoyed the DC side of things. I did enjoy like the Dark Metal issue 2 a lot more than 1. The only problem though, like the artwork for me sometimes is really good. Sometimes it's lacking.
Yeah.
But like maybe because Lee was gone, I don't know, from like doing it. But like overall, I did like the dialogue and the twists and the character interactions. I thought were good for me because I haven't read like the Batman issue 31 or a couple other ones.
Yeah, you don't have to read those to get this, but you definitely have to read some older DC stuff. Like it's a lot of Grant Morrison stuff. Mm-hmm. There's a big reference to Final Crisis, which I think should have been an editor's note in the issue, just because like it was such an overt, like when he was talking about like using like Baby Darkseid and using the Omega Sanction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but like I thoroughly enjoyed that read than issue 1 for some reason.
I enjoyed it more than issue 1 too.
So yeah, those are like the standouts for me because I haven't gotten my other sets of comics for like Wonder Woman and other stuff like that. But those are the 2 ones I recommend that I've read because I read other ones, but those were my standouts.
Yeah.
We'll go with Inspectors 2 comics.
So my 2 comics. So out of the comics that I got this week, which I thought this week was an average week. To me, my favorite my favorite comic this week was the Wildstorm #7. What the Wildstorm is basically like this Wildstorm used to be this imprint. It was originally an Image imprint that was created by Jim Lee, where like it was like Wildcats and Stormwatch and like all these different books. And in the late '90s, they were bought by DC, and these different books like The Authority and also like Stormwatch and Wildcats. And the main like Wildstorm character that people know now is Grifter. Like he's not like when he was brought in Flashpoint that like combined the two universes, because originally Wildstorm was just basically like its own thing. Here, this is of course like this the 7th issue. They took a break. They took a month-long break. Because the previous arc, which was issue 6 came out 2 months ago in July, and basically what it is basically like a retelling of the universe, basically like a kind of a reboot of the universe, because it's technically not in the DC Rebirth like continuity. It's its own thing, which I really like, and it's written by Warren Ellis, who is basically like the architect, who was the big architect of the Wildstorm universe in the late '90s with books like The Authority and his Stormwatch run, which led into The Authority. And like this brings back characters like Grifter, like Zealot, who are both part of the Wildcats, and Deathblow. Well, he's not Deathblow. He just goes by Michael Cray because that's his name. Like he doesn't have the name Deathblow yet. And it's basically like this corporate like espionage type story, which I really like. I really like those type of stories, and the art is great. It's really like it's a really gritty art style, and it's also like very clean, because sometimes I have a problem with gritty art styles where it's like too gritty and like there's too many lines, but this has like a really clean edge to it. My second one would probably be I really enjoyed I liked Aquaman this week, even though I think the story is a really slow burn. I think Dan Abnett, who's the writer for Aquaman, has been the writer for Aquaman since Rebirth started. I think he's a great writer. I just think he needs a better pacing to his stories, just because I think his stories are a little bit too slow, especially this story where like nothing has really happened in this story since like the first couple issues. But the art is great. It's by the artist is I can't really pronounce his name. Steven Sajic. He's, if you're a Marvel person, he kind of has like an Assad Ribic type of art style, where it's like very clean and kind of like painted, and it's really cool art. So yeah, those I would say those are my 2 books.
Nice. And if Talade, if you read any comics, what issues are those? And if not, then that's fine.
I haven't read. I haven't caught up with any of the comics as of recently because of my new PC and all that. But I am intrigued by reading the new Action comics and also Detective comics that are coming out. Well, it's next week, isn't it?
Yeah, next week. Next week, it continues the Oz Effect story in Action Comics, which
yeah,
if you don't want it spoiled, I won't spoil it for you.
No, I've actually
because they reveal Mr. Oz's identity.
No, I was watching Comic Historian's video on the Action comic side of things.
Yeah.
And obviously, if you guys haven't read the Action comic, then I won't spoil it for you. But there is a revelation of who Mr. Oz is. So I'm really intrigued on what they're going to do next and how that will affect Superman in some parts of ways in upcoming issues leading up to the Doomsday Clock. And also the I also want to see what the detective comic side of things is going on. And I know that go on.
Because Tim Drake is returning next week. And this whole Tim Drake story started back when Detective Comics started, where he quote unquote died, but he was taken by Mr. Oz in his prison, which also houses Mr. Mixopedalit and
Doomsday.
some other, and Doomsday, because he took Doomsday after the first arc in Action Comics. So yeah, I'm really interested in, like, I really like Tim Drake. Tim Drake is actually my favorite Robin. So and he's also James Tynion, who's the writer. That's his favorite Robin. So he's a huge Tim Drake fan. So
So that's going to be interesting, and I'm also interested. I'm also interested in Injustice 2 comics because I haven't caught up to that yet.
yeah,
So
they're really solid. I really like them.
you really like them? Okay.
Yeah.
I would say though, like after hearing about like the Superman Action Comics, like I may start wanting to
Picked it up again.
Yeah, pick it up. Yeah, I haven't started. Like I've been reading some Wonder Woman, Batman, Dark Metal.
Yeah.
From
And
after
going,
what I heard, I kind of want to now.
and going back to Metal, I agree with you. Where like the artist on Mike Grecopulo, and I'm not really that huge of a Grecopulo fan. I know there's a bunch of Grecopulo fans out there because he did basically all the art in Scott Snyder's run on Batman, and I think he draws a great Batman. But I have a problem of how he draws the other Justice League members, especially Superman and Wonder Woman. I don't think he draws female characters that well, especially Wonder Woman, especially in the face area. His Aquaman is okay. I feel like he covers it up with a beard because he gave Aquaman now has a beard, like in this current arc, so he has a beard. And I don't like how Scott Snyder writes Aquaman because he kind of writes him kind of like a meathead.
Yeah.
So like I don't really like the way Scott Snyder writes Aquaman. And I also read the issue of the first one shot for the Evil Flash came out today. Like the backstory of the Evil Flash Batman, like analog. And I thought it was okay. I felt the way it went was kind of forced. And I thought the art was like the art is by the like regular artist on Flash, and like I'm not a big fan of his art. So it was one of his better issues, but it was still really inconsistent in terms of how good the art was. But like this wasn't really my most anticipated one. Like my most anticipated ones are like the Green Lantern one and also the Wonder Woman one. And I'm also looking forward to the Aquaman one that comes, I think, next week. So
going to like Mr. Oz, like I'm wondering how they're gonna explain backstory. Just so I won't spoil things. Just backstory to his explanation, and you guys would understand what I mean by that.
I have a theory about that, but I don't want to spoil it for everyone else.
Yeah, because I'm wondering how they're gonna like approach that.
Yeah, I actually have a theory that I actually share with another person, and if you don't know, like if you didn't read the solicitations, the December solicitations which came out on Monday, Booster Gold is coming back in the pages of Action Comics, and that also has to do with Oz. So like because like people know Booster Gold is like a time traveling hero. Like he came back because like he wasn't like Booster Gold has a really complicated story behind him. But I love Booster Gold. I'm glad to see that he's coming back. So
my question is though, just to talk about Doomsday Clock, because it's supposed to be set years after, right? The current comics.
It's supposed to be set a year in the future.
Year in the future. So what happened? I'm just wondering because we don't know the ending of Doomsday Clock. Once they catch up, right? So do you think they're gonna do like a new setting or like a new, era for comics or?
Well, what Jeff Johns said is that like it's set 1 year in the future, but once Doomsday Clock ends next year,
Okay.
everything is going to be caught up with Doomsday Clock.
Okay.
Everything is going to be caught up to the time that Doomsday Clock happened. But my problem is not with like that continuity, it's with the continuity where the dark metal comes into play, because that totally like puts a wrench in continuity, because that's basically saying, oh, all this happened 10 years, like basically like all of Scott Snyder's Batman run, Final Crisis, Grant Morrison's Batman Robin run, Grant Morrison's whole Batman run, Infinite Crisis, like all those things happened. 52, like all those things happened. Like I'm glad that they're putting that back into continuity, but that kind of complicates continuity even more. It doesn't clean it up. Because in all intents and purposes, Dark Knight's Metal is a crisis, even though they can't call it a crisis. Because Grant Morrison had the Final Crisis, and since that's the Final Crisis, you can't call anything a crisis. Because technically Flashpoint was a crisis, but they couldn't call it that. They couldn't call it a crisis. Because they already had a crisis in time, and that was 0 Hour. I wouldn't call it Time Crisis, because Time Crisis is a video game. But, and like Convergence was also a crisis, but nobody liked Convergence, and everybody forgets about Convergence. And this is technically the Dark Crisis, but they don't call it a crisis because they can't. Like they don't want to call it one.
Yeah.
So, but I'm really interested in where Doomsday Clock is. They just showed the covers for issue 2, where it's Lex Luthor and Ozymandias, with Ozymandias with his hand on Lex's shoulder, and everybody's freaking out about that. So
I just can't wait.
Really excited for Doomsday Clock.
I'm gonna I think I can't get my holding or whatever you call it. Like, ask them to put it in my box until like a month before or something like that. So I gotta wait until October until doing so. But Marvel DC fan, have you read any comics or recommend any comics or?
No, not really. Haven't been. Well, I try to keep up, but I don't have the time to really go out and buy anything off the shelf. But yeah,
Nice. It's fine. All right, so we got one more opinion piece, rant, topic. This is just about Justice League in general, about people's comments about how Joss Whedon is just basically making his own Justice League movie, essentially. Changing everything, making it his movie, even though that's not the case. It's been said multiple times by cast members. Even I think by Josh,
Gal Gadot.
Did Joss ever comment yet or no?
No, because Joss is Joss.
Okay.
Like, he doesn't really like talking to people.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, you got a bunch of casts, and they put their themselves on the line when they say something like that. So it's like,
but Red Hood, they have to say that because WB said so. That's the main thing that all the bloggers and all the trades say. It's like, oh, they have to deny all this because it's bad PR. It's just like, can you be optimistic just for one moment?
Yeah. And then you got people running with it on social media and basically announcing it and claiming it as fact and saying, well, you see, because Zack Snyder and Danny Elfman are doing it, this film is gonna suck now. It's like Josh, taking, doing reshoots is now gonna constitute the film's gonna suck. And that's because of DC shills. And Danny Elfman, for crying out loud, is a good scorer, but you got people saying he's not. He's terrible. He doesn't know what he's doing. He makes scores for Avengers Age of Ultron, even though he didn't. He was just like a supporting, what do you call him? Artist on that front, and he didn't make the scores himself. So I just don't understand where we're getting these type of information and where we're standing. You got the DC, people are going to say, well, because of Josh Whedon doing reshoots, he's going to change the whole film. It's going to suck. And Danny Elfman's going on the soundtrack. It's going to suck. And then you got the sane people, like the actual DC fan, where they're not worried. They're listening to the news, and they're like, okay, I understand. The actors are saying this, and even, executives are saying it. So I'm going to listen to reason. But I just don't understand how everyone's just starting to jump ship and say, oh, it's going to be bad. It's just, I get to the point where I get a little bit angry hearing this and disrespect coming from it. I just, it blows my mind. Sometimes I wonder if people actually have brains to process information. But, that's what I think about this whole situation with people on social media and stuff like that. They don't think for themselves. And then they make outlandish statements. Mm-hmm. So, what about you, Inspector?
I have the same opinion where I think people are just freaking out, and I feel like the bloggers are mostly to blame since they're perpetuating this information, and the shills are kind of to blame. We're like, I think the problem with all these bloggers and all these blog sites like Screen Rants and all that stuff is that, one, their headlines are atrocious. They're just clickbait. They're the definition of clickbait headlines. They just want you to click because negativity sells. And the main person who kind of started this whole uproar or outrage was none other than Mr. Rob Liefeld, who is who you might know as the creator of Deadpool and Cable, and just overall well, he's a prick. People even his coworkers say he's kind of a prick because he's very self-centered and he's very egotistical. So he basically says, "Oh, I heard WB screened Joss Whedon's Justice League, and basically all the shills, all the DC shills jumped on him, and then all the Marvel shills jumped in agreeing with him, and there's no ending the war between the shills of Marvel and DC." But to me, I don't think Joss Whedon has had that much of an impact on what the movie is going to be. I think what Gal Gadot said is that he's just he added some scenes, he wrote some lines, he basically cleaned, I don't want to say cleaned up the movie because that say that he's fixing the movie, but you get what I mean, where
it's just revisions. It's think of it like a book, editor, where they're some of this could be a bit better.
He's basically
touching it up.
He's basically revising it. He's not rewriting it from scratch. He didn't rewrite the entire script, and he's not even getting a director's credit because yes, he's doing these extensive quote unquote reshoots where I don't think they're that extensive at all, but yeah, I'm still looking forward to Justice League. I think it would be a great blend of Zack Snyder's action and style with Joss Whedon's tight dialogue between characters. So.
And Danny Elfman's mastery of creating classical music for, I would love to hear Danny Elfman's, take on music for a Justice League theme. I totally think he's up for doing that. Yeah. And everyone's like I'm a big Hans Zimmer fan, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then I can understand, like, I'm not going to call myself fanboy because I can understand where people criticize Hans Zimmer, saying, well, some of his tones still feel the same.
Yeah,
And I
it's
can agree with that.
very percussion heavy. That's my main problem with Hans Zimmer. He loves his percussion. I still like Hans Zimmer, but that's my main complaint with Hans Zimmer.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. It's like, but I would love to see Danny Elfman's Justice League theme, and I think it'll be good. I mean, he made themes for, like, you know, Spider-Man and other movies like that.
And of course, I think they're going to keep the themes where I think they're going to keep Wonder Woman's theme since that's really popular.
Oh yeah.
The Batman theme they'll keep the same.
They basically like reworked the Man of Steel theme for the Justice League theme. I think that was in the trailer, right? The most recent trailer where they did basically like reworked the Man of Steel theme.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm like, I know Danny Elfman hates temp music, and what temp music is basically like, it's basically like placeholder music, where it's like it's a track that is used from like a different movie, and it's like the basis for the score. And he hates using temp music, and he likes like using his own music. So, I'm still looking forward to Justice League. It's only less than 2 months away, so
yeah, less than 2 months away, guys.
What about you, Marvel DC fan? What do you think about the nonsense coming out from social media and people saying this stuff?
I think like it's just wrong. Like, it's these bloggers and the kind of stuff. They take things out of proportion most of the time, and then people just kind of eat it up, and like that's just disappointing. Like it's not really. I'm hoping that with Joss Whedon and Danny Elfman, like, I hope they do a good job with Justice League. So yeah, I really didn't have much to say on it, but like.
What about you, Taladio? What are your opinions on people on social media and the bloggers and those people in general?
My thoughts are simple. Think before you say something. It's like you type something up and you're gonna say some bad or negative thing. Take a look at the stuff you write before posting something. And I'm not gonna mention names or anything, but here's my little rant about it. Like, if you're gonna say something about, we don't want Josh Whedon to be the director, he was perfect for Avengers. We don't want him to direct the, Justice League movie.
Yeah, the reshoots. And you're like, but dude, you haven't taken a look at any other of his work, not only his comic book, but other work. But on top of that, Danny Elfman as well. You have the likes of Danny Elfman, who's done the score for Batman 1989, 1992, and the animated series. He's also done the score for Spider-Man, the Spider-Man trilogy, Sam Raimi Spider-Man, and also done the score for the Avengers. So, Avengers Age of Ultron, I should say. But I mean, his work is really, really good. So I don't understand, like, where people who say, but he's only just done he's done crap music for Age of Ultron, and they don't really look at any other movies. And I'm like, look at what you say before you actually post something, and look at the not only look at the feedback you're getting, but also take a look at the lore of this person. Look at his work. Yeah, we got the likes of Hans Zimmer, who's done The Lion King, Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, and also many other countless, and The Dark Knight, I should say, as well. He's done various other, movies, but you're swapping out one composer for another one, so you're getting, so we're getting rid of Hans Zimmer, but we're getting Danny Elfman, even though it's a different
different take, but they're both great composers. And I think that's what people need to see is that, look, we're getting one good composer for another. We're getting one great one for another great one. And that have won nominee awards, such as The Lion King and, and Dark Knight and all these good stuff. So I think, in my opinion, guys, please, please, please take a look at take a look at the stuff you write or type, and then see if that's the right thing to put out, and then post it. That's what my opinion on that is. But I can't wait till November 17th, when is the Justice League movie comes out, guys, which I'm very looking forward to seeing, which is a day after my birthday, obviously. But I can't wait to see it. And coincidentally, that movie comes out on this, would you believe, 17 years to the day of the animated series Justice League, which started from 2001 to 2008.
2000. Well, it was 2000 to
Six.
2004, and then Justice League Unlimited was 2004 to 2006.
Yeah, but I can't. Yeah, but I've added them both. So 2000 to 2006. Then we'll count it as that. So we're looking for a thing. But I wonder, do you guys think we will get like a retro version of the animated series theme? So something similar to that of what we got in the animated series in a live action movie, or do you think it'll be something different and unique?
I think it'll be something different.
Yeah, different, unique. That was
Yeah.
what I was gonna say.
I mean, like, if they gave like a nod to it, like just an Easter egg, I mean, like, I think that'll work. But like having just the whole score kind of be like the
No,
old
not the whole
fashioned,
score. No, not the whole score. I was talking about
You're talking about the theme.
Yeah, the
theme.
theme.
Yeah.
I think the problem with that theme is that like it works well for that universe, and also like I don't know where like it can fit in the movie. So it's basically everyone wanting like the Donner Superman theme in like the new Superman movies. Like there's like nowhere it can fit in the movie.
Yeah, like you see fan made intros and stuff like that on YouTube, where people make like fan made they use the animated theme with the Justice League, and you have Batman versus Superman and all of these types of things that use fan made. They use the animated stuff and put that into a live action thing, which by the way is good editing. But like I said, guys, just can't wait until the movie comes out. So make sure you guys tune in.
Yeah, and I completely forgot one big, like, huge movie news in terms of, breaking records. It has broken all the horror records and highest movie of September record. And the thing is making quite a bit of money for just being a $35 million budget movie. And I think this is like basically a type of cultural phenomenon for this like movie to garner so many people's interests, and having basically their parents taking them to go see this film, sneak them in, and I'm just like, geez. I was like, there's a lot of kids starting to watch this stuff. I mean, in all, because I'm kind of like a horror buff moviegoer, so like I watch the horror movies that interest me in terms of them actually trying to be, horror and not just cheap jump scares. Quickly go into just it and how I felt about the movie, because I saw it twice. I saw it with my friends and then one of my family members the second time, and essentially, like, I really loved it. I thought it was a good movie and also a good horror movie at the same time, with good character interactions, character development. It was very tense because you get to care about the characters and hoping nothing, bad happens to them, and being on the edge of your seat when scenes start to get more tense. And the music works very well with this, and it's just everything about this film. I'm just surprised on how this film turned out, and I can't wait for the sequel. And essentially, it's breaking records left and right. It's a bit insane to think about, like, a horror movie to do these type of numbers. Can't think of any other horror film that has. But just to get your takes for this last topic. What do you guys think about, it breaking these numbers and being a cultural phenomenon in of itself? We'll start with Inspector.
I think it's good for it. I like the movie, and I think it deserves all the recognition it gets and all the money it gets. So that's all I have to say.
What about you, Taladia?
I got no words to describe it really. So I've got nothing to really say because I'm just shocked with the amount of money that's gone in. So, yeah.
All right. What about you, Marvel DC fan?
It's really good for a horror movie like that to kind of get those numbers. And honestly, I've seen it and I thought it was really good. So I'm glad it's getting good money at the box office, and I can't wait for the sequel also. So.
Yep. And also, if somehow the podcast, I don't know, we don't do it in a month or something. You guys are big Star Wars fans. There's possibly a trailer for like one of the football games in October. I think it's like the first or second week of October that they're going to show it, just like they showed in like Star Wars: The Force Awakens, type of style that they showed it in the football game. And Disney owns ESPN, so yeah, you'll probably see it because Mark Hamill let it slip, and then he had to delete the tweet. So expect the trailer at one of the football games in October.
Exclusive, guys. Exclusive.
Yeah, exclusive.
So, but what I was going to say was, though, guys, that there's a possibility for us to do a podcast maybe next week or the week after. Next week, obviously, because of the Avengers. So we'll take a look at that first. And then the week after, we'll do a podcast maybe then. So we're not too sure yet, but we'll think of something. But it'll be definitely on this day. So today is Wednesday. So it'll be every Wednesdays that you'll see the podcast. But if you're watching it as a video, then you'd know that the podcast, you can tune in on a Wednesday evening or Thursday morning if you're in the UK.
Yeah, and I'm still trying to figure out the whole iTunes thing and SoundCloud. I'm thinking about doing that, and so to get more publicity,
or possibly Patreon. You never know.
And so just to give you guys an update on my channel, you guys did see my video that I just posted. I will be doing a Tomb Raider reaction, giving my thoughts, and then I've been making a list for breakdowns for Punisher, and I'm doing a breakdown video of the Punisher, as well as some other videos I have planned, and I may be having a return series for Let's Plays, trying to get back into that, and then a couple live streams for like multiplayer games as well for my channel updates and stuff like that. So you can check me out. I mean, you're on my channel, and if you haven't hit the subscribe button, hit the subscribe button. Share like the whole podcast to your friends and family members, and we'll just go into our outros on where you can find these panel members and what they do. So, Inspector, where can they find you?
You can follow me on Twitter at The Inspector.
All right. What about you, Taladia?
You guys can find me on Twitter, which is at mtaladia. Also, you guys can follow me on Twitch, which is twitch.tv/Taladia Plays, where I am doing various games. I've just got affiliated, so you guys can tune in for that. But at the moment, I am not streaming, but I am indeed thinking of doing more streams coming up to the near future. But also, you guys can also follow me on my YouTube account, which is Taladia Plays. But I am thinking of doing a video in the near future to talk about, Rocksteady Studios and some other things as well. So tune in for that.
And also, Marvel DC fan, where can they find you at?
Well, if you want to see me do videos on, stupid shit and Let's Plays, of course, you can find me on my YouTube channel, Marvel DC Fan X99. I'm also on Twitter, which is at MarvelDCFanX99. I have a Facebook, but I really don't use that. But if you want to find it, you just type in Marvel DC Fan on Facebook. And yeah.
Yeah. And guys, this has been episode 10 of the Overleveled podcast. Do want to thank the viewers for constantly watching the Overleveled podcast, because I see the views, I see the retention rate, and I'm surprised that we still get the amount of views that we do for the channel, and it's very similar to each week. So I'm very happy about that. I'm very happy that we can continue doing this and that our voices are heard. And let me, also comment, ask us any questions, ask us if, you can even challenge us in a respectful way, of course. Say, oh, I don't agree with this, and then why? And I'll be like, okay, I'll answer that. And it could, be directed, just by saying our names and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
We'll come to see it and answer.
Or even better yet, if you guys want to tweet at us about the Overlevel podcast and what we could do future and how we could even improve ourselves, you guys can tweet us on our Twitter accounts and let us know, and tell us your thoughts and opinions on this stuff. That'd be very much appreciated, because we always love to hear feedback from you guys. And because it's not only our podcast, but our podcast is essentially for you guys at the end of the day, because you guys make it to what it be, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. And also, just tell us also what you guys want to hear. If you like the comic recommendations for 2 comics, what we've read and stuff like that, and just let us know, and we could incorporate that more. And also, just tell us what games you're also playing. That'd be cool. And movies and TV shows. But that is it overall. And hopefully see you guys next week. This is the Overleveled podcast, signing off.
Bye.
Take it. Peace.
See you all next month.